Hey, listeners, I'm your host, Lauren Osborne, and welcome to Baggage Claim. As you know, this is the podcast where we come to, well, everyone has baggage, honestly. We just come to explore the contents of our baggage, pick which souvenirs we want to keep, and pick what we need to or want to check in. I have a very special guest. Now, do you go by Kalyndee? How do you like it?
I just go by Kalyndee.
Kalyndee. Ooh, it's like
Mm-hmm.
Khaleesi. I know you get that a lot, but
Yes.
I'm feeling that. Well, welcome to Baggage Claim. Thank you for being a guest on the show.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Have you had a chance to like listen to a couple episodes of Baggage Claim?
I
Kind of
did. I listened
get
to
the
your
vibe.
first one.
Oh,
Yes.
yay! Oh gosh, you heard about my last situation breakup turned bad.
Yes.
My new boyfriend is this podcast. Like that's how I'm spending my time. Like we're together because
Yes.
yeah.
Good use of your time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm ready to find like my person because that's something that I truly believe exists for people. And so I'm just going to be open and work with the universe, not against it, which means I'm not trying to make fetch happen. Right? Like it's
Right.
not going to happen. I just need to just be focused on myself and let the chips
Yes.
fall where they may, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Build yourself, have yourself ready. And then
Yes.
when they're ready to enter, they'll be on cue.
What did she say? Oh, what was it? Jennifer Lewis? Yeah. And she was like, hey, fall in love with yourself. Love yourself. So then when love comes to you, it won't be a stranger. And I was like, I
Yes.
love that. And of course, it's like Mother, Jennifer Lewis's voice, where she's like,
Yes.
love yourself. And you're like, yes.
Anything you say.
Anything. Okay, so I like to do icebreakers to like get the episodes going, but I feel like before we get to icebreakers on you, should we just take like let's just do like a 10-minute, it may not be 10. All roads lead back to Bravo because you're a Bravo watcher and I feel like not all episodes are about Bravo. It's actually kind of rare. But the fact that I have a fellow Bravo friend and fan with me, I feel like we could just like let things out for a little bit, like for
Yes.
like 10 minutes, shall we? Like starting now, right? So you guys won't think they're always talking about Bravo. But all roads do lead back to Bravo in my world,
Yes,
personally.
totally.
Where should we start? Should we start with that Vanderpump finale video and the
Yeah, let's go for it.
throwing?
The
I don't know.
Stranger.
The Stranger. Okay, I don't know if you guys are looking on the interwebs, but I am tired of behind the scenes, by the way. I just want to watch and enjoy season 11 when it happens. I don't need all this before, but I also understand that Scandival really was a phenomenon. It was a once in a time and that we're going to have to be dealing with that and dealing with this season. But nonetheless, in a video, we see a stranger like throwing a drink towards, I don't even know. I mean, I saw Billy Lee's video after, but I can't. I mean, you're friends with a fraud. I don't know what you're saying and if I can
Mhm.
believe it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
is this guy really a stalker? How do we know?
And
Show us
how did
the
he
receipts.
stay there the whole time? Like
How did he
that
get
doesn't look
in?
like the beginning of the event either. You know, like that he was just snuck in and then immediately got thrown out. It looks like he'd been there for a while and then created chaos.
That's what she
So
said. She said that he was acting weird and then like a little while later, if someone was acting weird, you know what? Either way, I thought that they looked nice. So I'm eager for that finale. Croy refiled for divorce.
yes.
I think
And
there's
wants to sell
yes.
the
I
house
think
that's in
there's
foreclosure. Good luck.
yeah, I think there's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of toxicity going on in there. This sounds like, you know, some substance abuse in a way, and it couldn't, maybe it's not substances, maybe it's the act of the gambling. I don't know, but rooting for those kids because they didn't deserve it. And I
Oh
can't
god, yeah.
believe all of his money is gone. And he better come out with a very good book and maybe get a TLC documentary after this just to take care of the fam. since the
For
sports
real.
career is over until he can get like, a newscaster position or something.
And I don't know if he is someone that would get that kind of position. I feel
Right.
like
I don't know
the
if
people
that's what
that
he
do,
wants.
or if he would be, not that it's qualified, but like,
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of times it's the people that are really like the players that are the favorites.
Right.
And so that you just really want to hear their perspective, or if they want to go into coaching, that kind of thing. I think he's been done for such a while now that I don't know why they would bring him back at this point. Like, I think he's just over.
Yeah, he's got to do something else. So, yeah, that's another one. Also Carl and Lindsay. That is a rock and roll of emotion, of sadness, of I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I really
No.
want to do a whole episode dedicated to this, which I might. We're just going to wait till that statement comes out because that's what I'm waiting on. And then I feel like I really want to do an episode about this because no one is perfect. We are imperfect people. Okay. I don't know why. I mean, I know she has her moments, but I don't know why Lindsay's directness and frankness is often given really a bad look. And if she doesn't
Right.
F with you, she just doesn't F with you. Like, I don't know if it was the real world and in real life, that's who I'd want on my team, right? Like that's who
Totally.
I don't understand the Lindsay slander, but to automatically blame her and to do the I told you so and celebrate the end of this engagement is foul to me. It's foul. I said what I
Agreed.
said.
No,
You
and
know?
especially that he brought in cameras, like that is your best friend.
Wow.
She has been there for everything for you, through everything, through your worst times. She saw you through. So even if you can't go through the wedding and you need to focus on your sobriety or whatever the hell excuse you're going to say, you don't do that to her. You don't blindside her like that.
It's well, it definitely leads into like our episode today, which is like it's
Exactly.
me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. And also in terms of housewives, okay, let's get some accountability going. Like,
Oh, God.
what if you are in the wrong? Shannon, you get a little saucy and you talk about your relationship. It's very clear. The writing's on the wall. This is no conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy. Real Housewives of Orange County. It's not. Heather is really taking the brunt of this. And Tamra is being messy, but she had a job to do and she came here to earn this orange bag. But Shannon, it's you telling your business.
And it
It
always
is.
has been.
And it
I mean,
always
from her
has
first
been.
season, that's what happened initially.
You all will see. We all
well,
see.
I'll see the truth. Yeah, we do see the truth.
And I love you. I love your neurotic self. You're a lot. But I met her and she was a joy. She was a treasure.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the Trace Amigas are so fun to watch together.
Not Vicky.
Well, I mean, just them taking shots.
Okay.
Not as people,
Not even them taking shots on the show. But I've never been a big fan of Vicky.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, I just love Old Housewives so much, so I can like appreciate the wackiness she brought. But as a human, I'm like, God bless you. But I feel like that Shannon is in her Dorinda era, like her angry drunk era, where she needs to maybe take a beat.
She needs to maybe hit the meadows, is what I'm saying. Nothing intense, like 30 days. We're not doing that. We're not saying there's a problem. I think you just need some rest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And relaxation and recovery. I hope this isn't the era. I guess we'll see during BravoCon. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on the front lines. Again, this is my second time going. And I'm very, very excited. And I want to see what happens out there. Oh, man, that was our Bravo 10 minutes. Anything else? Any residuals that you want to get out there before?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, awesome. You guys, we're going to take a super quick break. Thank you as always for listening. We will be right back. Hey, listeners, welcome back to Baggage Claim. I am your host, and I am here with Kalyndee.
Yep.
Ayo! It's only, guys, because we chat a lot online, and so I'm always wondering, like, because we don't talk as much as we chat throughout the day, how I should say things. Like, fix your life, fix my life. I'm like, more right? But it's gonna come to me, and I stink at that. But um before we hop into the baggage, I like to do like 3 warm-up questions. They're typically the same questions, right? Um, but maybe like mixed up in order, right? But if you've listened to the episode, then you might be like prepared, right? But I feel like it's a great way to break the ice, and then we'll fly by them. I usually would respond, but because people have actually listened to my response now so many times, I feel like it would be weird if I did as well. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. So question number 1. Um, what is something that you want the world to know about you? Like, what would be like one thing that you're like, dang, I really wish everyone knew this about me?
That I'm hilarious.
Yes. Okay.
They should already know that, though. Anyone listens, they should know.
Wait, what's your podcast?
At Housewives Heretics, I almost said at Housewives Heretics _.
Oh my God, I follow you. Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, girl.
Yeah. It's very chaotic. And no, that's what I want people to know is that usually I'm not actually drunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm just that scary.
Ah, fair. I love it. Okay. Okay. What did emotions look like in your home growing up?
So I was raised by my grandparents and they were always super supportive and loving. So I feel like they really let me feel my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why I'm a little dramatic, So
I love that. I really had to like suppress mine. So I really love that deeply.
Yeah.
I feel like I found it. So that's at 10:34. Okay, I love that. And then the last question. Ooh, should we mix it up? Should we not? What does joy look like to you?
Joy looks like so many things, like fresh sheets are huge in my joy. The beach, always the sun, like feeling the sun on my skin, being outside, breathing in like clean air.
Love that.
Yes.
I love that. Well, thank you very much for sharing. And now let's get into it. Do you have any baggage today?
No, I'm perfect.
Same, girl. Same.
Never.
I don't even know why I'd picked this title for it.
I've never been wrong. I'm very unfamiliar.
Well, actually, we know what it is. It's literally, Swifties, you get the one thing from me today because I don't really know a lot of her music, but I do know this line, and I don't remember the song it's from, or I don't know. And if you know, clue me in. But she says, "It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me." And I feel like what we're going to talk about on this episode, the baggage of when you're wrong and what happens when you're wrong.
Thankfully, it's very rare. Very rare.
Right. I can't say it's, I mean, rare-ish, I think. But what does that look like? What does that feel like? And how do you, what would be like the souvenirs and what would you check in?
I'm not good at being wrong, first of all.
Right. I don't think I am either. I don't think it's the strength of a lot of people.
Yeah, I am a perfectionist for sure. And I am a little bit of a pleaser that I try to work on. So when I'm wrong, it kind of like derails me. and I try to stop myself in the moment. I've gotten better. That's one thing I've gotten better at. It not is like when I'm mad, slowing my roll and like removing myself so I don't hurt everyone's feelings. Because I will. And yeah. But
What's
then,
your
I definitely
sign?
overthink of it. I'm a Libra.
I'm a Libra too. Okay, this is going to be really good. Okay, September Libra or October Libra? October. Do you mind sharing? I mean, you said early 4th. Okay, we're close. I'm September 23rd, right?
Oh, we are close. Yeah.
Yeah, I literally bring in the scale of balance, and I think that why being wrong feels like baggage to me is it feels like it knocks my scale out of whack. That it feels so fundamentally wrong. That I wouldn't be that I got something wrong or that I didn't do something right. And I do think, like you said, I am a recovering people pleaser and it's a work in progress every day. So the fact that I aim to, I hate to say perform, but I want to do well. If I hate the fact that in my mind, and it's partially because of how, I was raised and just how my brain works is like, I want to come home and think at the end of the day that like I got all gold stickers like on like for my day, right? So then to look and even if because I can be wrong, right? Rarely, like we mentioned, but I can be it then looks like a big X. Even if all the rest of the day was gold stars, that just puts a little, I don't know, something on it.
Yes, it definitely does. It stains your day. And I'm sure that people around you come to you for advice a lot as well. I feel like people look to us and ask and trust our judgment. So I feel like I personalize it when I'm wrong because I feel like I let people down, even if I didn't actually involve anyone else in it.
Right. I mean, some things are, I think part of that is for me, it's like it's the need to control, right?
Oh, for sure.
The big C, right? Like, girl, just live in the present. That's why I have a therapist. But I think it's when the outcome that I thought I controlled does not become the outcome. Like it is not it. That was not, and I'm trying to pivot, but it's difficult. So I guess and also seeing it, seeing things play out from the outside. Like it's not involving you, but you see something where you're like, wow, you're the problem. And it's like, how do you navigate that? Like what is the best way to kind of like work through that within yourself and also work through it with other people, right? I feel like that's going to be kind of what we're talking about today. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So can you give me an example of when you were wrong? I know this is rare, so it might be like back, in the early twos.
I think that I've definitely backed the wrong people before. I think that's usually not that I'm not wrong, more often, but those are the biggest,
the ones that stuck.
Yeah, and the ones that like I feel like are the most damaging. You know what I mean? Like, because if you're wrong, like in a little scale, little tiny thing, it's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, when you back the wrong people, I feel like that is where it gets dark, especially when people are like manipulators and toxic and you're kind of like vouching for them or defending them when they're wrong. And it like makes you wrong by association. I feel like those are definitely the most detrimental times for me.
I feel like for me, similarly, like when I'm wrong, I feel like mistakes are one thing, right? Like everyone makes mistakes. But I guess when I say like I'm the problem, it's me. I think like when I'm wrong about people, it really gets under my skin because I think that especially when the hindsight rolls around,
right,
with people, even like, like with friendship breakups or things like that, where in the beginning I actually did see the red flags. And you know what I did? I disregarded them. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I thought never me. I don't know why the examples that were in my face at the beginning, right? Why and that's I'm gonna have to say I was wrong about this person. People even asked me about this person. Like, I don't understand. And yet something I was like, no, there's just a bond. Like, we understand each other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it was I guess if we're doing like the serenity prayer, the wisdom to know the difference, because
Yes.
you're like, damn it. And then when you get fooled, especially if it's from a person formerly you thought of as a friend, it is so damaging. Not only to like it's a sobering moment, but it's damaging to like your trust factor, right? Like how you trust
Yes.
yourself, like how you open up. When in reality, had you been trusting yourself from the get go, which means you can still trust your intuition. You can still believe in the things that you stand for, like your core values. But if you had relied on that from the jump, perhaps you would have seen things for how they really were.
Right. Absolutely. And had to
Right.
have the guilt of like bringing other people
Oh my God.
into that circle, and then like once you see the light, you're like, shit, come on, get out. Like, and then you can't force other people out.
I
It's
have
just,
an example of this. I literally do. I've got to try to navigate this story in a way that is that has like discretion and anonymity. Um, okay, there was this person years back. I'll even do it in mm, some Vanderpump verbiage because it really makes sense for them. Okay. So let's say it's like parasocial, right? This person that I was like, oh, we got close. It was like a Rachel, right? Fast friends, right? Like she was very cool. I also felt like there was a fondness and a deep compassion because the person has their own baggage and we're kicking it. And then you find out revelation, like there are little things, but you're like, "Phew, okay, well, they're younger, right?"
right.
Like you're thinking that. And then Rachel, it turns out actually Rachel, like those things that you would talk about and you would think, oh, well, she's grown out of that, whatever, whatever. No, it's actually very toxic, very unhealthy. I think it's for concern and I think for the professionals, right? So I say, you know what? I can't kick it with you. I can't kick it with you. But prior to that, I had introduced her to because I want to put to Katie, right? And I was like, "Hey, this person's pretty nice." And Katie was like, "Yeah, I can definitely help you. I can help you find sandwiches. I got you covered. I'll help you get lunch." Right? So then after Rachel reveals themselves to being just unstable and just very, no, I don't have the capacity. Like I'm at my threshold. Like I don't have the capacity, emotional capacity, to be a good friend. And I'm at this point where my therapist taught me this, and I say it almost every episode, and it's very true and poignant with me. The opposite of compassion is pity. And that's how I was feeling. It wasn't like, oh, I want to spend time. It was like, I feel bad, Like it wasn't,
Mhm.
it was pity. Like that's where it had turned to. Okay. So I tell Katie, like, hey, honestly, I'm not gonna tell all her business, but I am gonna say, like, for me, I'd appreciate it, like, if y'all just, like, didn't kick it anymore. Like, for your sake, for my sake, she's not in my life anymore. And that, this was the Lego, I was the piece. And so, and Katie was like, yeah, I agree. Well, then Rachel's being weird and like, you know, like messaging nonstop and like, Katie isn't a monster, right? So she starts to feel bad because she's getting a lot of sob stories. I mean, I think Rachel even had like her mom call or something, and send some like text message. So Katie like gives in and she's like, okay, yeah, you come to my sandwich shop. She even like donates and gets her like a gift card, right? But after a couple times, so now in between this, right? So this is before I said I was done with Rachel. Well, Katie, she she's friends with this girl Lala, right? And Lala travels a lot, and Rachel was like, I'm kind of on the down and out. I'm always looking for work. I've done Rover before, etc. Well, Katie recommends Rachel to Lala to like, dog sit or something, right? While she's out of town. Well, after that, because this is the person. Did you listen to episode 2?
I don't think yet.
Okay. Like 8-minute voice memos and like multiple paragraph text messages.
Got you.
Okay. Okay. So I have already understood the beast of like, no, it's too much. It's like you got to block, right? Like trolling on my socials style, right? So this is the same person. So um she dog sits for Lala, and then all of a sudden she's like, texting Lala all this stuff, texting like all this really personal stuff, also texting Katie all this like really intense stuff. Well, Katie, as you know, was once married, right? So let's say like, I mean, Katie's married, right? So um then at first they're like, not responding. Anyway, fast forward to they have to block because it gets quite intense. She's like trying to find Katie's husband on Instagram, making finstas, like all of these things, and it just gets super toxic. Again, the mom gets involved again. I mean, voicemails, crazy text messages, fences, calling from, fake numbers. The level of whoa, 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 whoa. And I didn't know even I didn't know it was going to go that step, but I knew once I saw. But then I also have to be like, that's the onus on you, Katie, because I told you.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like, I don't think that Rachel will ever look and say, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like that her mom definitely enables her, and it's maybe why she is so unstable. And they should maybe both go to therapy, because if you're going to condone that kind of behavior and reach out to people on the behalf, that's a lot.
Right? It feels like, no, unhealthy.
Yeah. And dangerous.
Level. Right.
Like, you in danger, girl. Like,
exactly. Go. I mean, it was like, had to like, shut stuff down. I mean, thank God, Katie has already like found like, well, I feel like she's, filming right now while, the sandwich shop is like under wraps because there's a stalker like amongst them, and it's unfortunate. And I just feel like, and I also feel like I have like a magnet to the toxic, which means, right? It's not attraction, it's a pattern, right? So it makes me reflect. Do you ever ask yourself, like, how did I get here? Like, what am I putting out? Or is it that I'm willing to like help the bird with a broken wing? Like, what do you think it is? I feel like I'm just blah, blah, blahing.
I think it's maybe both. I think that there's something that I've probably put out. I'm definitely always willing to help the baby bird, and I like to get to know people well. Mm-hmm. But I definitely, there's something in me. I don't know if it's from previous trauma and like growing up, stuff ingrained in me that makes me emit some kind of things that people know, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, before, I think maybe when I was younger, maybe I was like an overshare, but now I'm not even. But I feel like I am a receiver of a lot of information, which I feel like, yes, community is really important. Yes. I mean, I have a podcast, for God's sake. I love talking. I'm an orator, okay? But I also feel like um, I'm really starting to recognize in me the toll that it can take. And I think being a little more cautious and a little more, I don't know,
Selective.
selective. Yes, that's the word, selective with how I'm giving my energy, right? Like that's one
Hmm.
scenario I'm dealing with right now, weird group, politics, and it's very uncomfortable, and it gets to the point where I guess, do you feel like, where you're like, okay, we said in an instant where we're wrong about people. Um has there ever been, I mean, I'm sure there has been, where a time where it was like you were in the wrong with like how you behaved, and like how do you fix it? You know what I mean? Like how do you
Right.
repair that?
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, I'm
wondering.
definitely reactive.
Mhm.
So I definitely think that especially like when I was younger, it was
Mhm.
probably worse.
Mhm.
I am emotional, so I definitely have big reactions to things.
That's
So
'cause she used to be young. Shout out to Miley. Thank you.
exactly. So I'm probably like Lindsay. I get activated or
Mhm.
used to.
Right.
But I don't know. I will apologize. I guess I'm an apologizer. I definitely now try to limit that happening,
The
and I have gotten
apologies.
more. No, being wrong, like the reactions.
Right.
I
Right.
definitely try to like pull myself together and give myself a
Mhm.
moment to like live in the truth, not the delusion.
Right. Right. Okay.
Because yeah, facts aren't feelings, and
Yes, they really
feelings
aren't.
definitely feel like the whole truth and the only truth when you're in
Yes.
the moment. So I have to like give myself some space. But yeah, so those are, I think, the biggest times that I'm wrong is like the way I react is what I always regret the most from the past. I'm like, oh, that was a lot.
How how do you think people receive when they're wrong?
Not well. Yeah.
I don't think well. It's like, do
Oh.
you sit in it or do you react immediately? Are you thinking, is it your feelings that are taking over? Is there a part of you that knows that you're in fact wrong, or is it like pure
Right.
ignorance?
Yeah. And especially, is it the first time you're hearing this? Because is it just someone is now standing up to you and other people you've just steamrolled, or this is really the first time, like this is a new
Right.
behavior for you?
Like you had no idea.
Yeah. I don't know. I think most people know, and because I think that's why people get so defensive is
Yeah.
because you're protecting yourself. You're protecting your delusion basically in your
Shannon.
behavior. Yes. Most housewives.
True. Because that's on tonight. And I'm like,
Hmm.
ah. Um, okay, so we know that. Okay. Now what if it's when I'm trying to think of like all the baggage, right, that comes when it's like when you're wrong, right? And I feel like one of the things that we should touch on, which I think it's important to recognize that is wrong, and those are like the universal lies that you kind of have about yourself. Like they somehow like checked in with like when you were younger or when you were a kid, or somehow they got in there where you're sometimes like, for me it's funny, this podcast is called Baggage Claim, right? But like working through like me feeling like, oh, my universal lie that I will tell myself is like, I'm a burden on people. Like I don't want to ask for too much help. Like I don't want to cause too much, I don't want to, you know and when I was doing like my, what is it? I or no, EDMR, right?
Oh
No,
yeah.
oh, EMDR.
I
Uh,
rapid.
um,
Yeah.
it's it when I did it, uh I remember feeling like, oh, well, I just felt like even though I recognize now that like my mom was an adult, in fact, she was younger than me now with like 2 kids. I can't, right? She was married and then a widow, but that's another episode. But I would be like, oh, I just kind of felt like luggage, right? Like I was being like carried around like a carry-on. Like I don't know if she wanted me there or not, right? Bless her, love her, rest in power, right? But those are like somehow like how I would feel. And that's a lie, right? Like I'm not a burden. I'm not too much. So I feel like sometimes on the it's me, I'm the problem, it's me, it's also telling yourself that some of the things that you might think about yourself that it's wrong and that the outside information that you're getting that is like you are great the way you are, like you're lovable no matter what, you know what I mean, those important things, those things that you should be thinking of when you look in the reflection in the mirror, that if it's things that's like I'm unlovable or I'm unworthy, like that's wrong, and I feel like you got to call that out when you can, you know? Mirror work is amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Start with that. Start with this every day.
Yes.
Definitely.
I feel like those are important. I used to actually I've been working on it, right? I've been doing this breath work and then trying to do this thing where you're like first thing you do when you wake up in the mirror, it's to like rewire your brain as you or when you wake up in the morning, as you get up, you know, you do a stretch and get a breathe work. And then when you get up in the bathroom, like before you like brush your teeth and like wash your face, you get very close to the mirror and you tell yourself that like you love you so much, you're fantastic, like you're just wonderful, but you're supposed to say like I love you 20 times like to your reflection. And it
I
really
love
like
that.
rewires your day for like a more positive and elevated day. Yeah.
Wow. We'll
Like
live for that.
boom, boom, lesson learned.
Yes.
Okay, I've got to get a quick glass of water. You guys, we will be right back. This is not a Bethany podcast. I promise. This is the last break. We will be right back. All right, you guys, we are back. Thank you again so much for tuning into Baggage Claim. If you do like this podcast, you guys can like help your girl make her dreams come true. Please like it, subscribe, and share it. You know, like you can share it on your socials, you can share it with your friends, but just kind of put it out there. And also, the links are going to be in the episode notes as well as on my website. But I also have a subreddit created for this podcast, so even if you don't want to send an email, if you want to just either converse about the episodes or drop some baggage that you want either discussed on the show or not, just click the link and chat with us. But okay, we were talking about it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me when you're wrong. Sometimes it feels better when you're right. Of course it does. But for this episode, I guess what would be your souvenir and then what would you be checking in?
I my souvenir would be forgiving yourself for being wrong, acknowledge it and forgive it and grow from it. And then I would like to check um maybe the lies that we tell ourselves, like you said, like feeling unworthy
Mhm.
and those kind of things. I definitely go by.
Yeah. All right. I feel that. I'm going to say the souvenir that I'm going to keep um mm, is I think yours were really good. I'm trying to think. Uh I think it's going to be giving myself kind of a pat on my back, right? For like the growth and you know, sometimes I do try to save the baby bird, and I do actually kind of like that quality about me. I just need to be a little more selective, and they don't need to be a baby bird to save. Like, I don't actually need to save anyone. I don't really have to perform for anyone to be here and worthy of it. So, I think mine is going to be the souvenir I'm going to take with me is I'm just enough. I'm gonna take that as a souvenir. And what I'm checking in um, is I'm checking in feeling bad that I was wrong about something because that is life and everyone's wrong probably numerous times. So I'm kind of over it.
Love it.
I would think, okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. We will have you as a guest again, of course, to talk about all things Bravo, especially when that statement drops in regards to Carl and Lindsay, because I really want to know what's going on. Where can people find you? The socials you want people to know.
Yeah, you can find me at Kalyndee or on my podcast Instagram at Housewives Heretics _ and our podcast Housewives Heretics is everywhere you listen. We're recapping season 2 of New Jersey right now. So
oh wow.
The good times.
Lena quits?
Yeah. Yep, we are getting ready to do the country club episode, my favorite of all time. So.
Wait, this is when she brings like the crew
and pulls her hair. Well, she already did that. This is with the hair.
Okay, pull. Danny was before that.
Yeah.
Teresa was like, "Is that no?" She was like, "I just want to say
better?
hi."
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Better? Yeah. Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, listeners. Again, always, as always, thank you so much for listening. Check the episode notes for all the links, all the socials, and remember that everyone has baggage. It really looks different for every single person every single day. And the bright side is we get to choose what we carry. So sometimes don't bring that heavy shit with you. You don't need to. And as always, thank you for listening. You guys have a great one.